Live from Hollywood, back again here for more Dancing with the Stars week 3. It is TikTok night, and we have so much to get into. A very shocking elimination. I'm not wasting any time here at the top of the episode. Of course, I am Matt, rejoined this week by Sasha Joseph. Sasha, how's it going?
Horrible. We're in hell. Can't believe we're here. It just, wow.
I can't believe we're here, but I also can't believe who's here with us. It is someone who I have only recently discovered, but like I'm so mad at myself for not knowing more in previous seasons. This person who, as far as I'm concerned, is like the person to follow when it comes to Dancing with the Stars, especially in the preseason. We're joined today by Kristyn Burtt. Kristyn, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me tonight.
So excited to have you. Kristyn, for anybody else who may have only recently discovered you or maybe is seeing you for the first time here on RHAP with us, can you tell us a little bit about your involvement with the show and just anything else to know?
Sure. I have a long history of the show. I've covered it consistently since season 15, which was the All-Stars season. And for people who remember AfterBuzz TV, I did an after show there with Anna Trebunskaya, a former pro on Dancing with the Stars, Suri Serrano, and Jake Dupree. We were kind of like the four that really kind of led the way with that. But I've done a lot of spoilers over the years and just from sources that I've met. And for anyone who wants to know, this is just one little like insider thing. I never speak to the pros in the preseason. I let them do their thing. I would never jeopardize their job. So if anyone's thinking, oh, she's talking to this pro or that pro, I don't talk to them at all. They could verify that themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen this comparison before that Kristyn, everyone's calling you the Sharon Tharp of Dancing with the Stars. Sharon is the like the must follow of the Big Brother world, of course. There's a big world around here. So yeah, so excited to have you with us tonight because not only have you been covering the show for so long, but you're such a big fan of the show. Following you on Instagram and TikTok, like you are just as into everything that's going on the screen as all of us are. Obviously, I think you've been to many tapings, right?
I've been to more tapings than I can probably count. And, it's interesting too, because I also covered So You Think You Can Dance. So I've known a lot of these pros since they were 18 and have grown up, they're married now and have kids. So it's kind of crazy seeing the evolution of their careers. Ezra, Whitney, Lindsay Arnold. It's been amazing. Brandon, I've known a long time. Riley Arnold, I knew when she was 8, 9. Yeah, it's amazing. I covered Dancing with the Stars juniors. So obviously we had Haley Bills, who's now in Troop. She was part of that show too. It's amazing.
And just like still getting to do it all these years later. I mean, again, the preseason of this season specifically is when I discovered a little bit more about you and just getting to get the buzz going before the season even begins. It's like weeks beforehand. We're trying to figure out which pro is here, which celebrity might they be paired with. It's extra fun in addition to what we have.
I love doing it. And I was saying it's stressful. I don't know if Disney ABC loves it, but but I was like, I actually think that a lot of the pros sometimes, some seasons are bigger than some of the stars and they deserve more shine on them. And I wish the show would do that a little bit more. They don't have the time, in 2 hours, but they're also talented.
Yes. So again, so excited to have you here with us tonight. So grateful that you made some time. Sasha, let's get into this episode. And we have to, of course, start with the headliner. That's usually the elimination, but even more so because a shock elimination hit us tonight.
I mean, it's just like a joke at this point. I don't know. This show is like jumping the shark. I don't know. It's just I have watched this show for so long. And I just miss Len and his actual critiques. 2, like, why are people watching the show or being in the audience if you are just booing when they give the little bit of critiques that they when the judges give like a little bit of critique. Oh, wow. And then the third thing is why like women are constantly getting screwed over in this show. And I'm just so over it. And like at first I was really pissed off at like folks, giving Andy sympathy votes. But then I thought about it and like you can vote however you want. Like that's not fair. But in reality, I'm just like, what up with the judges? Like, how is this okay? And when are we gonna like be more equitable to women on this show? Because like that 6 and Andy 6 is not the same dance.
I know. Yeah, it's tough, Kristyn, because we're always seeing that they want to grade the contestants based on their own personal scale. And of course, we can understand that Andy's scale is a little different for them grading than it is for Lauren. Ultimately, we lose Lauren tonight from Fifth Harmony, like, mega pop star alongside her partner, Brandon. But at the end of the day, the tough part about that is those sixes count the same mathematically when you put them into the final machine. And so all of a sudden, Lauren's going home week 3 when she should be much longer in this competition.
She should have, if not the quarterfinals, if not the semifinals, she could have been in that finale. Her dancing was gorgeous. And to point out too, for Lauren, I think this is really important. She and Brandon started at a 1-week rehearsal deficit. And look at how gorgeous she looked in that first week too, with that rehearsal deficit. She looked incredible. So she was someone that was, I think, a very natural mover, obviously picked up choreography very easily. I thought that they were a beautiful couple together. Brandon presents his partners so wonderfully. Like, they shine. It's not like, oh, I'm looking at Brandon the whole time. I'm looking at Lauren. And it was, I knew she was in trouble. The signs were there, but I didn't think it was going to be this early.
No, Sasha, I know you were here last week, but we were talking at the end of it about the following of some of these contestants, and Lauren was at the bottom, and it was shocking to Haley and myself. We were specifically just like, what the heck? But it shows itself here. And Kristyn was talking about the views of some of their videos online, which can definitely be a good indicator. Just, again, very surprising. But though you mentioned Andy, I think is like one of the names that is the most part of this conversation, because people might be expecting him to go home by now. Kristyn, I've seen your videos the past couple of days. You are firmly team Andy. You want to speak to that at all?
Sure. I've got a cat crossing right
Love
Oh, this is London. She's a big fan of podcasting. So here's the thing. The one thing about this particular season is that we have so many great contestants. And so it's like, we've got this big group, and Lauren was up there too at the top there. And then we kind of had, Barron was in there, and Corey Feldman was in there, and Andy was in there. And these were the 3, and we lost Corey and Barron. And I don't think we should have lost Barron last week. I'm not going to lie about that. Agreed. I felt like Britt had a lot to teach him. He had a lot to offer. And I want to see, because with everyone else starting at this high level, there's only so many places that they can go. I really want to see someone who's at a beginner level have a beautiful kind of dance arc. And I'm coming at this from a dance show perspective. We also have to remember that this is also a reality show, and Dancing with the Stars and the producers behind the scenes produce it as a reality show. Yes. So I get that, because, they want the Whitneys there, and they want the Roberts there in the end and everything. But if we couldn't keep Barron, which was a big mistake, I feel like I should have pushed Barron last week, not realizing he was that much in jeopardy. I was like, let me just push Andy. Let's just see if we can get him through a little bit. I don't know how many more weeks he's got in.
I think it might be a couple more weeks. I wouldn't be surprised.
People are like, sympathy. Like, give me a break. I'm sorry.
But Sasha, I'm going to ask you, Sasha, I'm going to ask this. Maybe, and I'm going to think about this. Someone at home sees themselves in Andy, like the person that tries something really hard and is just being brave and going out there and just trying, especially because the show is very hard on people who are in their 50s. And we had Elaine here in the bottom this week. She's 54 and she can dance really well. The audience has an ageism issue. And so maybe keeping some people around in their 50s a little bit longer is a good thing.
I think the audience has a lot of isms issue.
They do.
There. But I don't disagree. I want to make that clear. I actually enjoy Andy, but I just think that the level of dancing this season feels so much higher. I think that's why it feels extra frustrating that Andy is getting more votes. And like, a lot of people don't even like Hilaria, right? And they're like, why is she here? Because look at the votes, right? Judges scores, and whoever else is voting for her. But I just feel like there's a difference because of how high everyone else is. And then someone like Andy is getting in. I think that's where it's a little bit cognitive dissonance for me.
Yeah. Well, and then you look at it like Lauren went home over Andy. Then you go, I get that.
Exactly.
I get that too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Since day one, the audience has always voted for who tugs on their heartstrings, and obviously that is, a big role that Andy's filling here. I heard him on a podcast this week, I think with Conan, talking about the experience and how much he's loved it and how much he loves working with Emma. And you can see that, and you can tell, this is not what Emma had last season. This is not what Britt had last season, where it's like sometimes you get the partner that you really have to do everything with. And we'll talk about Andy's dance a little bit more, but he is really trying. You see him with the knee braces, with the sweat on his shirt, like he is putting his everything out there to try to do the best he can with the circumstances of, I guess, his age and the way he can't move like a lot of the younger and more professional dancers can. So he's definitely trying. People are connecting with him. It's just, again, going to be tough, as I don't think he's going home next week either. So who is going to go home next week that we're going to be back here again saying shouldn't have gone because someone who is dancing a little bit less excitingly made it through? But again, that's what the show is. It's a reality show. You vote for your favorites regardless of if they're the best dancer or not. So that's where we're at. It's TikTok night here in the ballroom. Sasha, I think you had some takes on the theme of the night.
I mean, here's the thing. It started off like, oh, this is cringe, but I felt like it was really fun. Mostly, where maybe because I just expected like extreme cringe level, so that's why I was just like, okay, that was like not so bad. I'm enjoying it. I'm having fun. Especially I think I'm thinking of like Dylan's milkshake song, right? Like made no sense, but like this time he's actually having some good songs. But I stand true to what I feel, that when they, I know the reasons, but still, when you don't have the actual song and unfortunately, you have the band singing the cover, it messes the whole vibe. And that's what was really interesting.
I mean, it's also worth like mentioning just along those lines that they don't have the band singing live when they're rehearsing. They have the original track, and a lot of other couples that have the track that they dance to, like they have the actual Sabrina Carpenter song, like they get to do the exact same thing. So I know that they have like rehearsals and whatnot, Kristyn. They do like the dress rehearsal, the camera blocking, all that stuff. So there's time to rehearse, but probably not the same. I don't know if you see it from the same perspective.
Yeah, there's probably a little bit of a disadvantage if you're rehearsing to the original track and then you have to go with the band, because you have to start working on timing too. Yeah. And that anyone who's done musical theater knows that like one conductor can be a little bit faster, you have to really get that timing and nail it down, and especially if you have a contestant that gets thrown by something like that, like, right. Oh, I'm just hearing Sabrina Carpenter's, version in my head, and then you're going into the band, that's where it gets tough.
Right. Kristyn, what'd you think of Charli D'Amelio back in the ballroom? Champion.
You know what? I mean, they were totally leaning into the whole TikTok theme. It is really nice to see her back after her successful Broadway run. She just finished up at Anne Juliet. We saw a lot of her though. It was like they were making sure, like, dances, Mark, the opening number, the troupe, you're going to see her. They were like, if we're going to bring her back, we're going to use her a lot. But I do think it's also them leaning into the 20th anniversary of Dancing with the Stars. They're starting to bring people back into the ballroom.
I heard Samantha Harris was there tonight, but I didn't see her. Did anyone see her? There was no acknowledgement.
There was no acknowledgement, which I thought was kind of strange. And she has been doing some Instagram stories and saying, hey, I'm going to be there this week. And I kind of wish that they had called her out, because she's such a huge part of the show, in the history of it, which is strange.
Rumors that like Tom may pop in this season.
Yes,
I'm not sure about that.
A guest judge.
Samantha Harris is here. Like, why aren't you showing me her? Plus, some other Kristyn, you were posting some of the other people that were there. We saw Steven, of course, from last season. Did you say Kris Jenner was there?
Kris Jenner was there.
Okay.
Did she buy the Hilaria votes? Because I'm saying.
I was trying to think. I was like, who is Kris Jenner trying to get on the show next season? That was my thought. I'm like, is it North? Is it North?
Already? Are we already there? Don't tell me I'm old enough that North.
She's a baby. Yeah, she's still a baby, but I wouldn't put it past Kris to try and do it.
Right.
We had. How old was Willow? I think Willow was 14 when she did the show. So
Shy Jackson, right? How old was she?
I think she was like 19.
18,
she 19. Yeah, she was just tiny.
Was a minor. I can't remember, but yes, we had one more.
Yeah.
But
plus, no, go ahead.
Oh, good. I just was going to say, I wouldn't put it past Kris trying to get North on, and the show would go for it. They would.
Yeah. I will love that.
Also, just a bunch of popular TikTok creators in the audience. We're not going to flag them all up because I'd have to know all of them in order to for that to happen. I only saw Jersey Joe as the guy that I knew in the audience. I don't know if anyone else clocked anyone else, but I did actually appreciate in a big way the fact that they were highlighting these choreographers, these dancers that created a lot of the very viral dances that have been all over TikTok. And of course, we're bringing them to the dance competition here, Dancing with the Stars, the biggest dance competition that's televised, at least as far as where I'm sitting. And just to highlight the people that it seems like really made these dances that went viral. I thought that was all pretty cool. So
yeah, which oftentimes doesn't happen on, people don't give dance credit on TikTok sometimes.
Yes.
So the fact that the show did it was really important.
Right. We had Jenna and Britt were still in the ballroom tonight. They were replacing Sasha backstage doing the TikTok live. Sasha was there too, somewhere, just not working, I guess, tonight. So that was interesting. But is Brandon going to take over next week? Like, are we just rotating it or?
That's my guess. It seems like where they leaned into Jenna and Britt doing it this week, my expectation is that Brandon will do it next week, which would be good. I mean, it's kind of nice to keep the pros involved and showing different behind the scenes. The behind the scenes is really interesting too. If you're ever there live, it's fun.
I mean, I have no experience in person, but like just listening to everything on the TikTok live, I'm like, oh, like I want to be there someday. But what else? Joey, of course, is there. Joey Grazade is giving like the high school senior who doesn't leave the high school. And I know he's doing the podcast, so he needs to be there. But like I'm seeing videos of him every week with the pros, with Jenna, with whoever, and I'm just like I don't know. It's just giving a little bit of that, even though it's.
I say this because there are certain contestants that just have such a great experience with the show that I think that they like to come back and support. I think of Kate Flannery all the time. She loved her experience with Pasha. Yeah. She comes at least once or twice a season to support everyone. It supports everything that Danny and Pasha does. So I always know, I'm like, she just had a really beautiful season when she did it. So I think that Florence Henderson, when she was alive, Mrs. Brady, she would come almost every single week. She loved the show. So, I guess some people it holds a special place in their heart.
Sasha, do you like connect the same way with for me, like some of these celebrities that you can tell like want to be there more than they want to do well? Danielle Fishel being like the key example of that this season, like the way that she just started tearing up when only 3 dances in, but she gets like the highest score of the night so far, and she never expected to hear those words just from like knowing that she's not the best dancer there, even though she's doing really well. That just made me feel happy.
Yeah, 100%. Like I find it the opposite of Anna Delvey, right? Yeah. Where you're just like, oh my God, you really want to be here, and that you should get points for that. No, I love it, and I feel like if they try, then I'm immediately connect with them, like y'all are saying. And like I said, this is still a dance show, so you want them to also be good dancers, which I feel like Danielle is that perfect mix for me, where she's not like a pro, she's not like super amazing, but wow, she's killing it and she's trying really hard. And like literally her knee looks crazy.
Yeah.
And even then she's like killing it. She's like, I'm so happy to be here. That to me, that's like the perfect mix where you're good enough to like, for me to not feel like, oh shucks, like I just really have to vote for you, otherwise you might be gone, to where you're like, no, you're actually trying, and there's like stuff like that you can actually get good judging scores on. So I think that's the perfect mix for me.
For sure. We have so many teams to get into here, so many pairs, I guess I should say, but I do want to first bring up the leaderboard and shout out as always to whoever I grabbed this from on Twitter. Wish there was enough time that I could really just remember or write it down. I'm one day. But Kristyn, this is the top of the leaderboard here. I mean, we're going to talk about these teams, again, pairs individually, but any like main takeaways from looking at the top of the board?
I think that the 2 surprises in just terms of like switching, Dylan rising up that leaderboard and Robert Irwin dropping a little bit, which was interesting. I know he's a hard worker, so it's going to fuel him for the next couple of weeks. And Dylan needs to ride this energy because this was a good week for him.
Kristyn, where are you feeling with the narrative that I think exists? It definitely exists here on this podcast, but seemingly in the whole landscape of the show. Is Robert Irwin winning the season, or is there anybody else that will have a chance?
I feel like Robert Irwin's winning the season. There are certain people. Whitney's making a strong statement for herself. Jordan Chiles is making a strong statement for herself. Alex and Val, don't sleep on them either. I mean, these are all people with strong fan bases, so we have to remember that. But I call it the Irwin PR machine. I mean, they all moved here from Australia for 3 months to root him on. And, anytime, Bindy's willing to do interviews, and I just feel like they're here to help Robert win any way they can. They're a very likable family. They're so sweet, and they're ready for Robert to also capture that Mirabelle trophy because Bindi already has one on her bookshelf.
They're going to have those displayed so nicely back at the Irwin household.
Yeah.
Sasha, the bottom of the leaderboard here. Of course, you can look directly at the bottom, but what else stands out?
Yeah, I think that Elaine, I think, again, got screwed by the song choice, because I didn't necessarily hate both of them, like Alan and Elaine. Like, I feel like they actually did a pretty good job. It's just that song was jarring. And Jen and Jan, again, I just have to say, and this is a person with zero dancing background, me, but I'm just confused by, like, some folks, to me, Scott and Riley, maybe just had a lot more TikTok than Jazz, for them too, or whatever their content, as Bruno says.
Mm-hmm.
But then others didn't, and then they were scored lower. So I this bottom half, that's what's constantly poking out for me. But listen, we have a lot of ties too, so I can't be mad.
Well,
but Andy and Emma, should be way lower. I'm sorry. It's a joke.
Let's get into some of these performances from tonight, and of course that'll begin here with Jen and Jan. Sasha, you want to keep going with the with these two that kicked off the night?
I think they did fine. Like, we get her, like, I'm a mom, Mamacita, again, iconic.
Oh my god, I couldn't believe it.
Funny.
I said we're starting with Love Island here on this TikTok night. Hey,
I appreciated it. I was like, if we're gonna lean into it, let's, like, fully lean into it, because that's been her thing, right? Like, I'm a mom, I just gave birth, like, that's her thing. Love it. Yes. And then it was fine. I think, like, a middle of the road where she's not, like, horrible, but for a cha-cha, I think it was a little bit slower. But I don't know. I think she's good. What do y'all feel about Jan's choreography?
Yeah, Kristyn, take that one.
Yeah, I'll take that one. I think that the judges are subtly pointing at Jan, saying, hey, you need to step up some of the content of the actual dance. And I think we're seeing that too. Even if you don't know every single step of a cha-cha, you can kind of see it here. And both of them are very likable. Jen is likable, Jan is likable, and maybe they're leaning a little too heavy on that. And now it's time to he needs to refine some of her movements. She needs to, like, clean up little things. She's very pleasant to watch. She's fun. She's a little bit of a surprise, because I thought it was just going to be Whitney and her excellent dancing, Whitney Levitt I'm talking about. And then Jen was going to get lost in the shuffle. She's not getting lost in the shuffle, and neither is Jan as a new pro. So if they want to make it to the second half of the season, because right when you get around week 5, it starts getting like people just start going. And we're going to probably have at least one more double elimination. And if they want to make it to the latter half, he needs to step it up.
Yeah. We talked last week. What was that, Sasha?
No, I said, come on, Swifties.
Talked last week about how, like, for me at least, like, I haven't been connecting with this couple the most. And even as we started this, they kicked off the night. And again, I'm just kind of like, it's fine. It's good. It's not bad. It's just not, like, I'm not connecting with it for some reason. And I feel like, Jan is still kind of just getting used to this ballroom, like used to this studio, this, this whole environment here. And I think that, again, they're doing fine, but I just can't imagine how much longer in the season we can get by with just like, it was good. Look, the beginning of it with the baby and the Love Island sound drop, it got me invested right off the hook, but it just it still needs a little bit more. We were starting with 6s in the beginning of the night. I was surprised. I feel like they usually want to give you, like, a really good one to get going, but
sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, I think the number 1 position is the worst one, because they do kind of hold back. Yeah. So they, honestly, when they got 766, I was like, that's actually okay. I felt like they were going to be okay. Yeah.
Yep. I was like, oh, that's better than what I thought.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you. I also really like Liv's comment here where Jan is truly trying to figure out, right, like what they're expecting because something I noticed, right? We look at Whitney and Mark's dance. I feel like there was and Scott and Riley where there was a lot more again TikTok-y content versus like yeah, versus like a few other folks. So I think he tried to land in between because he's like, I gotta take out the flips. Got it. So I feel like this is a person like Jan maybe would really benefit. I feel like, getting mentorship time with the judges of like, hey, this is actually since we're not on a time constraint, like here's actually what's wrong or why we're scoring you the way we're scoring you. Cause I think it's in there. He just needs to like put the pieces together of like, what do they want plus what does audience want? How do I like overlap at that instead of kind of trying to, play this guessing game and then ending up like really being like, okay, let's just go the Swifties route.
I'm going to say if we're setting the bar at does this person make it farther than Andy Richter? I kind of don't think so.
Yeah. Oh my God, don't piss me off.
I don't know. I think they'll make it farther. I think with the combination of Jan, Swifties, Jen, she does have there is the Mom Talk fan base is definitely voting. At some point, they're going to get cannibalized once you get less and less because you'll start splitting the vote. But there's enough contestants right now. I just think Jan really needs to just like hone in on what they need to do. And he'll get there. It's good.
Yeah.
I'm also like, there's so many pros that are paired up in life. And also these people that have been friends for so long, they've been working together all these years. And I'm like, does Jan have a buddy out there that's like helping him along in this process that, another pro to help him be a better pro?
Yeah.
Because he's not been super active on social media that I've seen. So it's not like I'm seeing him forming these friendships unless Kristyn, I don't know if I'm missing anything, but
I've seen his lives. He does his lives in his car, and they're pretty hilarious because everyone puts cowboy hats on him and mustaches. It's really great. And I was like, you guys don't vote him off because these lives are giving me like when the world is all doomsday. I go and watch Jan's lives. But most pros have some type of help in the background there, whether it's one of the spouses, just giving an eye, like saying, hey, this doesn't work right here. Whether it's a member of troupe, whether it's someone who's been tied to the ballroom world, everyone has some type of help and you need that. Right. I don't know who is working with Jan, but obviously, hopefully they're watching the show and listening to the judges' feedback so that they can help Jan get there for the next week.
And if all else fails and they really feel they need to break out the Robert Irwin, Jan's shirt will be off in no time. And,
right? Do it. Get the ladder.
They'll go for it. Get the ladder out. I mean, this is as much about the pro sometimes as it is the celebs. And if you want that Swiftie vote, bring out the ladder, take off the shirt. But we'll see. All right.
I also think Miss Brown Sugar has a really good point that Jen, right? If you're Secret Lives of Mormon Wives follower like me, that her thing was that she's trying to figure out her sense of self and needs a partner with clear guidance. And I think the fact that they're both new, right, in different ways, and Jan is figuring out himself and his positioning and feet. I think he's doing a great job, but still, he needs to figure his way here. And then having someone like Jen, it's just an interesting combination that I felt like we should highlight. I don't necessarily want to pass judgment on like someone's like personal life like that, but Zach has been her husband. Again, I saw some weird comments from him where they were like posting something online and he's like, oh, I'm gonna pretend I didn't see that. Like, Zach, shut up. Like
he doesn't let Jen shine sometimes. Yes. And I watch Secret Lives as well, Mormon Wives, and it's frustrating. But I went to the premiere of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, and we watched the first, I want to say 2 episodes, maybe it was just 1. But I said there was a scene in that first episode, and I said I knew she was going to be on Dancing with the Stars because that dynamic between her and Zach, I was like, I am sure Dina Katz, the executive producer who does talent casting, I was like, she's going to see that and be like, hired.
And give her the hot guy.
We're gonna get to like, if Jen can stick around long enough, like one of those dedication type of nights, or just, we're really already starting to bring in our personal stories into the ballroom. And I'm like, is that going to be a positive story that they bring into one of her dances? They're gonna try, but
they'll try something.
I don't think she's gonna allow them to not, like, she'll share, oh, it was hard, but we made it through. He's my rock. I think that's way we're going to go when, maybe reality that might not always be the case.
Season 3 coming out soon. Lauren and Brandon, Kristyn, again, we just maybe foresaw like a little bit of this wasn't looking like this was going to be the most successful just based on what we've seen so far online, but I never would have expected it to be this early. Jaws were on the ground tonight.
100%. I thought that she was going to run into some trouble just because, and I used to call it back in the day when we were all on Facebook. That's how long I've been around with Dancing with the Stars. I used to call it Facebookology because I would take a look at like comments underneath the videos and things like that. And I'd be like, this person's actually going to go way faster. And, so it was a little bit of that old-fashioned Facebookology, looking at what was happening with her TikTok views and her YouTube views and Instagram. And I was like, how are people not connecting? Because I thought she came out of the gate so strong, and that they were beautiful. I thought that Brandon's choreography was on point. I feel like he was riding high from his Chandler season. And I am honestly missing the disconnect because I was feeling it.
And Sasha, of course, you talked about the music.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so I literally, I'm not joking, like went and looked up work from home. I was like, is there controversy I'm missing? What's the tea? And the thing is, from what I did my research, and this is again me just like making massive assumptions because I have no idea, is it feels like Camila Cabello was the original lead vocalist. She is not part of Fifth Harmony anymore. Technically, she doesn't own the song, right? Like, that's not how this works, but still. And then Lauren they redid it, and Lauren is now the lead vocalist. So it was really spinning my head that she didn't get that song, because I think a cha-cha to like the original song that I hear in my head could work.
Yeah.
But I think I wonder how hard it is when you are the literal singer of the song, lead vocalist, and they cut out parts of the song while you're dancing. I can't imagine that hypes you up, and it feels like such a, like, the start of the song feels much slower than the chorus, so it felt super choppy overall, and I'm not getting it, but like, I understand. I think that maybe Fifth Harmony isn't on the scene in the same way. And I think that's all that it comes down to. And Chloe in the chat even said, like, my parents and sibling thought she was cocky. Obviously, they just don't get her personality. So maybe that's the disconnect. And Good point. I just think women, she's not skinny. I think that might be a part of it. We don't know, because I think she looks great and everything.
I mean, don't you love like the judges' comments anytime that it's a woman that, looks like Lauren, I guess I'll say. And they're like, I love the way that you connect with your body. It's like, why is it always the same type of person that gets those comments?
It's those weird, like micro aggressions. Yeah. Like it's about your body type. That's weird.
Like, we know what you're saying, and you're still saying the same thing. So that's a little uncomfortable. Plus, again, like the scores being so low, I saw a couple of spots where I was like, oh, I think they might lose a point here or there. It felt like maybe they fell out of sync with the music. And I really feel like this could have been a team that did not, between, of course, what you were talking about, Sasha, of like, she knows this song like the back of her hand. And it's not the exact same song that they're dancing to on the stage. Plus, it was live and all that kind of stuff. So it did feel like they were a little bit out of sync. And there were some times of like, oh, that's probably not how they rehearsed it. But not enough to the point where, when they got 6s, I wasn't shocked. And then you get to the end of the episode and I'm like, okay, I understand they put them in the bottom to scare us a little bit because it wasn't their best dance, but they're not going to go home. And then Jaw goes back to the floor when they do go home. It makes some sense with the judges' scores, but the judges' scores didn't make sense, if that makes sense. So
the fact that there wasn't a 7 in there at all, I understand. Like, she's a natural mover. She makes things look easy. And the one thing I did write, I'm just looking at my notes, is that I wanted her to have a little bit more power behind it because it was a Latin dance. And they said that too, as the judges. But you're telling me that no one saw a 7 in there?
Right.
Because to me, even a Lauren 6 would be, in my mind, she would have had to have forgotten half the dance or tripped or something really weird happened. There were at least 2 7s that I think could have been thrown in there. I don't know.
In the same way that I was, devastated for Britt last week, she's not been able to go the distance in these seasons and get good results. Brandon came so close last season. And just to speak of this from his perspective, so close, robbed as hell. Sasha has covered that part very well. And then to go out here, like, this is tough.
Devastating. It really is. And, last year I unfortunately predicted the order of like how everyone would place 1 through 5. I was on Cheryl Burke's podcast and I'm like, this is what I think. And people are like, you're nuts. And that's how it played out.
Yeah.
But I said, you know what? It's so weird because I'm looking at this from a dance perspective and how good they are, but we also have to put in that like element of personality and what people are saying. And sometimes I think Carrie Ann gets to some of the viewers with some of her comments, especially towards women. And I think sometimes people start voting the way because they're sort of influenced by Carrie Ann.
I mean, yeah, the chat comment there, Sasha, that the dancers look stunned. It was a funeral. It was when the results came in, it was so quiet. You would be able to hear a pin drop even through Derek's horrible microphone that he had on tonight. It was shocking. They didn't even know what to say. She gives the one word answer. How are you feeling? She says pissed, as you should be. You should not be going home.
She should not have gone
I mean,
home.
why call her in at the anyway? Whatever. Funny enough, will say I agreed with Carrie Ann. Like I was like, oh, this didn't hit for me in the same way that her Foxtrot, right, last week hit, where I felt like she just did it was okay. It felt slow, right? Like I said, it was just the song and her. It didn't mesh the part. I don't know that it's fully Brandon's fault. It's not any one thing. But I agreed with Carrie Ann. I just, again, feel like that's fine. Then let's score other folks the same. That's all.
Yeah.
But we said this about Jordan too, right? Episode 1 where she was the first dance and she got a 5, right? So it's just, it's the curse of going early, being a woman, whatever you want to call, and having some dance experience / maybe some fans thinking I don't need to vote for her because, she already maybe has a fan base. And like you said, it's just online. People aren't connecting.
I think I have to stop voting. I voted 10 times for Baron last week, 10 times for Lauren this week. I think I'm cursing them. So
I know I only voted for Jordan and Lauren.
Yeah.
So, but I always did that. I only voted for Chandler.
We'll talk about Jordan soon. Obviously, I didn't vote for Jordan, and when the results came in, I was like, oh my god, I forgot to vote for Jordan. Absolutely would have, but that one's on me. But again, maybe I didn't curse her. So we'll see how that goes. All right, let's keep moving. We still have so many couples to talk about. Kristyn, I've been not shy about the fact that this is my favorite couple of the season so far. I am loving Danielle Fishel. Topanga is here in the ballroom. This partnership I love so much. And I thought they had a great week. Sabrina Carpenter, finally for them.
Finally. A lot of people, when I did my Andy, you guys should vote for Andy. People are like, what about Danielle? I'm like, I actually, guys, think that Danielle's doing way better than you think. I know you guys talked about the social media numbers. She's right behind Robert in increase of social media views. I think she has the ability to go a lot further than people are thinking, just looking at, the first couple of weeks of her dancing. But this was the best she danced tonight with the Foxtrot. I love the fact that she's just such a pretty, natural dancer. There's just an ease. And I think that the judges mentioned that too. But Pasha, obviously Danielle trusts Pasha. You can see that trust. And Pasha's going to be able to take her to another level. What she needs, and this was just my own constructive criticism, is just those finishing lines. I know she's having problems with her, leg and everything, or what was it, her quad or whatever it was with all that bruising. Yeah. But she'll need to start finishing off those lines, straightening those legs. But I am going to tell you, this was a really nice breakthrough for her, not just physically, but emotionally. It was nice.
Yeah. I thought this dance was so much more up her alley than the first two. She killed it. I also was just paying so much attention, Sasha, to her face. She's an actor. She's, the emotions are so much easier for her versus Dylan Efron to really just see where she's supposed to be, where she's supposed to be taking you in these performances. And she takes us there. The judges loved her. They thought that, she really took the feedback that they'd been giving her. And what was it, Bruno, I think, that was I love a good student. So, I think the judges, the fans are really enjoying them.
Yeah, again, I love them. I think they're so much fun to watch. She wants to be here, and now I think I'm gonna get behind Danielle because I
Love
need,
it.
like, women, you know what I mean, to get behind, and I think she has enough, hopefully, a juice to get us, get me through these next rounds because I'm irritated as hell, but I just really I love them, and I hope they do well. Seeing her and Sabrina's, connection was so sweet as
It's
well,
so
the girl
cute.
meets world moment that happened. And I want to be like, Sabrina Carpenter's song, Man Child, is much bigger than Work From Home. But anyway, let me not. I'm confusion. But either way, it's just so good. And I love this story. And Sabrina, at least on Twitter, I saw a lot of Sabrina fan pages saying to vote for Danielle.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah,
Yeah, so
honestly,
that's
I didn't even
been
think about that.
yeah, so I just felt like that was really great. And again, I really enjoy them, and I didn't think I would. This I felt like, oh, this is like the gimmick, they'll stay for a few and then go, but no, Danielle wants this. She's trying really hard, and I'm here. Let's go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's a reason she had that big social media rise. I'm actually interviewing her on Friday, and so I'm looking forward to it.
Tell her we love her.
I will. I'll just be like, the love is there, and I'm just very excited about it, especially where she had a good week. I was like, please have a good week. Please have a good week.
Can we get the plug in now? We'll, I'm sure, get it again later, but where can everyone find that interview once it's up?
Oh, sure. It'll be up on soaps.com on their primetime channel. So I'll be sure to, put it on all my social media channels when it's out too.
Can't wait to hear it. Her podcast has been so much fun. I keep talking about it, so that's been good. And yeah, Sasha, I didn't even think about the Sabrina Carpenter. Like, Sabrina Carpenter is going to send one more message out, which is going to be probably one exactly message to tell her fans to vote for Danielle, than Taylor Swift is going to send out to tell her fans to vote for Jan. So, it's great to have the fan bases, but get them involved.
If Taylor ever posted, it's over.
It's over.
they're winning it.
Yeah,
bye, Robert. You're done.
Not gonna happen.
But until then, yeah, I agree. And Emily said that Sabrina seems to have posted it on her IG story, so that's huge.
Oh, good. Love to hear it. The hamstring, I believe it is, Sabrina, I'm sorry, Danielle says is so much better, so that's good. Also, Danielle posted a picture of like a bunch of people in the crowd that were there for her. I'm just going to give you the names that I recognized, and there might be connections with these people through shows that I haven't seen. George Lopez, Lauren Lapkus, and CM Punk were the names that that stood out to me. And I said, what the hell is going on around here? I don't know. George Lopez.
I guess if you live in Hollywood long enough, you get a lot of famous friends. I don't know, right?
And probably more that I didn't even recognize. But look, Danielle's got everyone out here ready for her. So we'll see them hopefully for some more weeks. So a good week for the two of them, and a really good week. Oh my God, Sasha, Jordan, and Ezra. I screamed. I haven't stopped screaming, even though I have. I loved them so much tonight.
Chef's kiss, their outfit, so hot.
So good.
So good. I'm telling you, to me, like, the outfit really sets the tone for a lot of these dances, just like Danielle and Pasha, right? Like that blue. Funny enough that Lauren wore the same color last week for her Foxtrot. But it to me, like, the look sells it first. And I think this is also why I enjoyed this episode much better than the last two, because we actually got their backstories this week, right? For all of them. We got like, oh, this is why I'm here. This is why I'm doing this dance. Anxiety specifically, right? Like, hey, as an athlete, this is what's going on with me. So I just feel like we got way more about them for most of them. I think that the TikTok content creators maybe aren't giving us as much, but I really she set the scene so beautifully, or the producer set the scene so beautifully for her. And then they started dancing. And I said, yes, Ezra, this is what we've been waiting for. We were so worried that he was like, the TikTok choreographer, but I take it all back.
100%. Kristyn, I feel like we kind of expected that Jordan was going to be good at this. And in the past 2 weeks, we've definitely seen what she can do. But I got to shout out Ezra here. We gave him some criticism. A lot of people did week one, said you can do more, you can bring more to this. And it's still his, basically his rookie season. It's technically not, but it feels like it is. And I was blown away with this number. I thought it was so much fun.
It was so well done. And I think both of them took the constructive criticism from week one. They did not get offended. They didn't, fight back. They just went to the studio and worked. I mean, of course, you have an Olympic gymnast. So she's going to know exactly what she needs to do and step up her game. And he knew what he needed to do in terms of choreography. And they both listened and they worked hard. And, obviously Derek was like saying, hey, maybe you could help her a little bit out with that height difference. But I think Ezra's doing a good job in making that height difference not too noticeable. And I just think I'm a huge gymnastics fan to begin with. Everybody knows I've followed Jordan for years. I'm so glad that she's here, but I also love seeing her vulnerable side, because gymnasts are known for just being like, I'm badass, I can do this, I got this. But I also think seeing her softer side is a huge part of her Dancing with the Stars journey.
Yeah, she really had all of us, really tugging at the emotional heartstrings for sure. Talking about just how much this all meant to her, and just like her knowing, I think, that she crushed such a impactful performance. It was definitely showing on her face. She was crying, all that stuff. And for the first time, I was like, okay, this isn't a team that might go out right before the finals. They should be there at the end. If they keep up at this rate, oh my God, please. I would love to see them go deep into the season. So as long as they can overcome the height thing, which I didn't even realize as much until this week. Of course, Ezra pointed out in rehearsal, he's like, she's staring at my nipples.
That was so funny. Like, Ezra is unserious. I love it.
But they are locked in, and I'm like, I almost feel like I haven't seen as much from Ezra on social media, and I'm like, is he just so clocking in onto performing? I hope so. I mean,
I think he realizes that, sometimes social media can be a distraction. And I think he realizes he has a contender and that his work needs to reflect that. I mean, there's still time for TikToks, but there's maybe not time for 10 TikToks in a day. You're a little bit different,
Yeah. And even from the beginning, I don't know if everybody saw the same, but like when they did the couple intros at the beginning, which they had a weird, they started that too soon while Julianne was talking. But Jordan and Ezra, they were like in character from the first moment. And you see that plenty of times, but I was just like, oh, I know this is going to be a good performance tonight. So, and it was.
It's the eyeliner. So good.
They were great. Let's keep on moving to Dylan Efron and Daniela. And Kristyn, I believe we have a bit of a mutual friend in Brandon Donlin, who messaged Sasha and I during this and said, oh, thank God, Dylan actually can dance.
I wrote on my notes tonight, I wrote, Dylan needed this week. I was very confused. Dylan is very likable. I enjoyed him on Traders. That was so much fun. And when he got here, I was like, okay, great. And then there's been a weird disconnect between his upper body and lower body. And my brain would watch it and I'm like, what is going on here? And it wasn't that he was bad. It's just that we all learn differently and our brain is wired differently. And I felt like tonight, all of those wires came together and it's like, the breakthrough happened. That was smooth. That was suave. And obviously he's listening to what Danielle, the critiques that she's giving him. She's giving him great foundation and basics. And that just, everything came together. It was beautiful.
Yeah, it worked for me. Obviously better than the last 2 weeks. I thought it was definitely a breakthrough. But Sasha, I will say, I don't know that I would have gone to an 8. And he got 2.
That's what I'm saying. Here's the thing. I was watching Daniela the whole time.
Yeah, as always.
Right. And I feel like Daniela is the star with these two. I don't disagree, Kristyn, that, right? Like he finally, I think, is getting it. He is moving correctly. But I felt like, oh, he's finally starting it. So like, I don't know, the 8, but here's the thing. Here's what Daniela does well. She knows how to get these men to be the sex, the sex pots, right? That they are. And I think that works really well for him because it's not like he's bad dancer, right? So you're just like, oh, we get the really attractiveness from him plus good enough dancing, right? Where that package together, I think, oh, Daniela is just so good and such a good choreographer. And I didn't feel like he was still the leading man, but if the judges say that, that's fine. To me, I'm still watching Daniela and he's the someone that, that highlights Daniela.
Yeah. I liked Carrie Ann's comment, Kristyn, acknowledging that like we have this ballroom kind of split between beginners and advanced dancers.
Finally.
Like acknowledging that is always worthwhile. And Dylan, of course, is one of the beginners. But it was weird because I thought her criticism, or I thought her judging was about to start off with like that was good, but we never got the but. She also got tripped up a couple times tonight. But live TV.
She gets tripped up on the hot guys. She's always like,
with Robert, she lost her mind. And
she's
I said,
like,
look, all of us did too, but you're the judge.
But I think Dylan too. It's funny that, you're like, I was watching Danny and my niece texted me. She's in Georgia and she's like, Danny is such a great dancer. I'm like, but we're watching Dylan, remember?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, yeah. I mean, it is hard not to keep your eyes on Danny, but I would say Dylan seems to me like he's a really hard worker. He really wants to do well. And Danny's going to be like a slower. He's not going to be like an Amon, just like going out there and doing everything. She's going to get him there. I don't necessarily see him as a finale contestant, but I think that she could probably get him quarterfinals, maybe semifinals if he, really improves. I think he's got a nice fan base. He's nice to look at. So people are going to vote for him.
He's friends with Justin Bieber, with Sabrina Carpenter, Taylor Swift. Where's Dylan Efron is friends with Justin Bieber? Excuse me?
I said, when did that happen?
Okay, I know. Is it through Zach? Like I was wondering if it was through Zach.
Has to be, but that's so random still.
And he goes, Justin makes people feel comfortable being vulnerable. I'm like, I don't know that Justin's been in the news for making people feel comfortable lately. Justin's been going through his own stuff, always has. But hey, let's go with it. So I don't know, maybe we'll see Justin put out a tweet. He's constantly putting out support of like the Toronto Maple Leafs. I don't know why he can't throw out a Dylan Efron support. Like, hey, vote.
That would be outrageous.
Why not? Oh my gosh. Just real quick though, Kristyn, you talked about the traders. You were also saying before we started a little excitement for this upcoming season and Mark Ballas.
I said everyone better watch season 4 of the Traders because Mark Ballas probably has one of the best social games going. And I think it will be underestimated by a lot of people. Some of them may not know who he is because he doesn't do every single season of Dancing with the Stars, but he is so kind and so lovely that if he is an actual trader, he is going to stab you in the back and you won't even know it because he's so nice.
Sasha, what are we going to do if Mark Ballas and Rob like go after one another?
No, don't even. Because
what if
I picked Mark, in my draft. I didn't pick Whitney. I want to make it clear. But it's just if him and my bestie are against each other, it's over for me. Okay, so no.
We have a couple more months to still get ready for that. So
I can't wait. I'm so excited.
Here's my question, tinfoil hat on for everyone. Next week is Disney week. You know what's a Disney movie?
Mm-hmm.
High School Musical.
And I'm going to hope for it to not happen because I unfortunately won't be here next week. And I will be devastated to not be able to hop right on the podcast afterwards and talk about it. But I will.
We're all in this
I'll be calling you,
right? Or get your head in the game. Are you kidding me?
No,
with the basketballs, it's over. Baron isn't even there anymore. Come on.
And unfortunately now, Britt can still be involved in that number as she was the first time around because she can be a backup dancer for them because now she has the time. Well, all right. We'll see if that happens. But up next, of course, is going to be Elaine and Alan, who bet on it. That'd be great. Look, any of them. Elaine and Alan, I thought did well. The judges a little bit harsher, Sasha.
Yeah, they were on her neck. I said, girl, look at what song this lady had to dance to. Here's the thing. How are they judging? It was really hard to watch because with the plaid, right? The red and black plaid.
Yeah.
The bottom of the floor, I know it wasn't the Netflix logo, but right, it was giving it was just giving when back in the day your TV needed to get hit a little bit.
Is that just because Elaine hasn't been on her screen since then?
I don't know. I'm just like, oh my word. It was really sensory overload. And this isn't like Elaine or Alan's fault. It's just the lights and the movement was a lot, and maybe a little bit smoke and mirrors to help her out. But she's a good dancer. I don't think she needs it. And she has like a lot of nostalgia factor going for her as well. So it's just all together. It was really throwing me off, and the song was just I'm so confused. But I like the song. I like Cat's Eye. And I like Elaine, so I think it's fine.
Yeah, Colton says worst song choice for a ballroom dance. Whoever made the decision.
No, I think we have to leave ballroom like in the peripheral with this new season, and that's okay. That's just the reality.
Kristyn, I did enjoy though when Julianne was talking to Elaine, and she said, "Well, look, I'm doing the best with this 54-year-old body that I possibly can, and if we're giving Andy a different scale, why is Elaine just because she showed a lot more promise in the first couple of weeks that she's getting harsher critiques? I don't know."
Yeah, I mean, Elaine's not moving in the, because he's what, maybe 58, 57, 58. So he's maybe 5 years older than her. She's moving a lot younger than he is.
Yeah.
And he is getting hip replacement. Did you guys hear that on the Conan podcast? Yeah. So he's got a hip replacement in his future, which obviously I'm sure there's a lot of pain each and every week. For her to be 53, I feel like she's moving like she has a young body. She keeps herself very fit, and if she's not dancing, she's doing something else, whether it's Pilates or yoga. There's some flexibility that you still see in her body. The song was weird. I felt like it gave them just a total disservice to what poor Alan having to choreograph to that. I thought what she did nicely though was like amp up the performance. And when there were slow moments, like she just ate that up and she's like, I'm going to look in the camera and I'm going to show you that I'm giving my all to this. And that's all she could do, honestly, because the song itself was just a travesty, having nothing to do with the dancing.
I felt like Alan might have known that going into this night, because I caught him on TikTok live earlier today and he seemed nervous. Like, I've not caught many Alan lives. I don't know if he goes live as often as the rest of them, but he was just like begging for votes. And he's like, I'm sorry, I don't usually beg for votes. And I was like, should I be nervous for tonight? I don't know. Maybe he had a bit of a vibe that it wasn't going to be their best performance, but I still thought it was fine.
Yeah. I mean, middle of the pack, I think it felt. Yeah. Middle of the pack. Yeah. I think she's done better. But I think hopefully with Disney Week, they get something just more fun, because she's going to lean into, and I mean, they should make her a Disney villain because she'll be amazing.
Oh my God. Yes, absolutely.
Give her Maleficent, right? Like that long, like, and then she gets more length with the horns. Oh my God. It would be so hot.
What the heck came out of Carrie Ann's mouth when she was critiquing
this is the one where I said, girl, did you have a stroke? Maybe like the strobe lights got to her.
She just and Alfonso was like, yeah.
No, I'm not joking. I legit went online to check if I missed something, because I'm like, oh, is there like some TikTok millennial like thing that has come back with the Parent Trap and all of it, or Dynasty? But I was like, no, I watched Dynasty, so like that's not true. So that's just Carrie Ann's ass being Carrie. Bless her.
They made it through. We predicting that they'll make it through many more weeks, like 1, 2, 3 more.
Oh, that also, I know. I think I would like for her to make it far, because this is another one where I feel like she's really trying hard, wants to be here, is older, but like just moves young. So
I worry about the fan base.
So yeah, same. Okay, I gotta start getting these votes.
But I do think if she gets a Disney villain next week, she's gonna be safe, because she's gonna
love Disney villains.
And she's going to be so good at it too. That's the thing. I feel like they give her the right character. It's an easy pass through to the next week.
Mm-hmm. And I think Alan is such a good compliment to that, right? Like when he was a donkey for Encanto.
He's down for anything. He's down.
Right?
He can do it. He'll lean into it. So
so it would just pair perfect, where maybe he's the dragon and she's Maleficent riding the dragon, or something, or the evil witch. I feel like the from Snow White, but that might be a little bit. Oh, that's funny. Paige in the chat also just put that as I said that. McKenna said Cruella.
And then
I just want like a sexy hot villain for her.
I see the potential.
Yeah.
Let's keep on moving to Whitney and Mark. Kristyn, of course, it's Mark Ballas. That means that we have a contender on our hands. He's paired with Whitney, who is such a trained dancer. She is so good, and she's not getting any worse. That's for sure.
No, the one thing about Whitney, this is my one thing, because she comes out every single week and she's like, boom, I'm in your face. Pow. And I am waiting for a softer dance.
Yep.
I want to see that like soft feminine side because she has hit us over the head for the last 3 weeks with like major power. Not a misstep. She's performing the heck out of it. But what does, if we have to slow her down, we have to pull her back a little bit, what does that look like? It might look incredibly gorgeous because, again, it's Mark and she can dance, and the two of them are going to have technique up the wazoo. But I am really curious to watch that.
Let me just keep talking about Danielle and the way that I saw her face in her performances, which is what I want to see from everybody in their performances. But it's hard to expect from non-actors, non-people that don't have experience in that field. Whitney is giving, I can't believe that I am a celebrity on Dancing with the Stars, and it's still week 3 and we still haven't gotten past that. So she's still like a kid in a candy shop, excited to be here. And that's awesome. I'm so excited to see people happy and excited to be on the show, but it's showing like you're saying, Kristyn, in that like, pal, I'm here. Look at me. Look at how good I am. We know how good you are, but I'm still waiting a little bit for exactly what you said of like reining that in, a little bit of a slower dance style, something that, you know, we can see her. Don't smile at me for a second in your dance. I want to see a little bit of like the serious throw on the acting because she played the villain on TV. So, you know, bring us back a little bit. She's obviously going to be a huge contender in this season, but I am waiting to see a little bit of something different. And of course, you know that Mark will get her there where he needs her to be whenever the time comes. Sasha.
Yes, to everything. I also want to say, I feel like for Whitney particularly, it's very funny what TikTok they talked about. Because I said, girl, that is not your most famous TikTok, you liar.
Baby.
I know. I was like, I think it was your baby in the hospital. But you, again, like I say that in jest because here's the thing with like TikTok dancers, right? Or famous folks. Whitney studied dance in college, period. And Whitney has now been doing TikTok dances a lot more, right? Like that's where her body is. So I'm very interested, like y'all are saying, for that slower dance. And I feel like sometimes for these TikTok dancers, right? How does that translate? Like, will it translate rather? Because she is so good at in your face, shake your ass, right? Like, I mean, hell, Mark got Kim Kardashian to twerk. So what are we even talking about, right? But it's just, I think that this is her bread and butter currently from what all we've seen on TikTok, right? Like they're just like in your face, fast, not really a lot of personality per se, right? Because you just have such a short time to capture audience's attention. But I feel like she's doing a really good job. And I'm like in shock because I was number one Whitney hater, but I still think that I'm like on her side. So she's slowly showing herself. It's just I'm worried like once you take away all the smoke and mirrors, what's left. But she's studied modern dance, so I think she'll be just fine.
It's such a different dynamic for me, Kristyn, than, you know, Mark and Charlie. That was like lightning in a bottle, as we saw. And, you know, even still to this day, when they get to dance together, it happened last season. They got to come back. They're back again here this season for one of the bumpers in this episode. It's like that was like a perfect pairing. This feels like two very good dancers, or, you know, obviously Mark Ballas with a very good dancer, but it's not exactly that yet. So it's like a different experience that I'm getting from this couple. But all that is to say that they are obviously still going to go super deep.
Yeah. And I wrote just kind of like, let me read my glasses because it's my like scribble that I wrote in the corner. But I wrote Charlie and Mark are one of the most dynamic couples to come out of Dancing with the Stars history. And I think the one thing for Whitney, and maybe dedication night will be one of those, but like I need to feel a little more authenticity. And that's just like, you know, going deep down and like bringing all of this emotion up. And for anyone who's done Dancing with the Stars, it is a very emotional journey. And right now she is just in like the fun time of it. But I'm like, I need you to dig deep, girl. And like, let's see what other colors you have to show us on the dance floor.
And I almost feel like the judges aren't giving her, like, you know, when we have the couples that are doing really well, but they want to give you a little bit of negative feedback along the way. I don't know if I'm just not hearing it, but I'm like, are they giving it anything to work on? Like, give us some illusion that she's not going to, you know, be the best dancer of the season. I don't know. But
yeah,
we'll
you
see.
need like one constructive piece of criticism to walk away with on that judges panel. It
Right.
doesn't necessarily have to be all three, but someone has to give one.
I mean, sometimes I like worry, this is not a new topic, but I'm like, is Derek, ever going to be the one to give Mark, Mark and his partner the bad critiques? I don't know. They're lifelong buddies. So Carrie and Bruno, come through next week. Let's really tell her what, one thing. Break the illusion. All right. Let's keep on moving
I think
here.
that's fair for everyone. That's why I was irritated by the boos, because I felt like Carrie Ann wasn't even that crazy with the judging this week. Even for Lauren, I think she was right on everything she said to Lauren. So it's just, I don't know why they're not letting the judges give actual critiques. I'm confused.
Well, Carrie Ann's also not getting her scores in. Carrie Ann scores.
You're like, what is it? Do you guys watch Strictly Come Dancing at all?
I really might.
I've seen YouTube videos because I know a YouTuber on it, so I've started watching this season.
Yeah, George Clark, which is
yeah,
he's with Alexis War, who used to be on Dancing with the Stars.
Right.
I was watching it live on Saturday through a link. Wink, wink.
Mm-hmm.
But it's amazing because it's a slower paced show in that it's 2.5 hours. There's no commercials, and there's 4 judges, and they all give them, even if it's harsh, they all give them one constructive piece of criticism to walk away with. And you just kind of have to pick and choose because it's 4 judges' opinions, but it's really fascinating to hear. And I'm like, this is so much more helpful the way they do it.
Sorry to be the one that doesn't know everything that I should know about the dancing world, but is that the show that Bruno was supposed to be a judge on, or was that a different show?
Bruno used to be a judge on Dancing
Strictly?
And Strictly Come Dancing. Yes, he used to fly back and forth with Len. They would do Strictly Come Dancing on the weekend and then come back for the Monday show. But he was also doing, I think, Britain's Got Talent. If I'm correct.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because there was a show that he was there was a headline about how he wasn't able to do that show this year or this cycle because he's going to be here. Okay. I need to get my toes into all
now
that.
The new Britain's Got Talent. Yeah, I think that's because of Bruno.
Well, Scott and Riley are the next pair up here today, and they were so good tonight. I was so glad to finally see just some positivity go their way, because even though the first couple of weeks we did have some comments about things were standing out that maybe weren't the best, and the competition is very stiff around here, so they needed to step it up a little bit. And while this week did not beat the "we're only going to dance side by side all season" allegations, they still did a very good performance. It was a lot of fun. The judges liked it. Not only did we get away from the 6s, but we got to 7s and an 8. Sasha, they breakthrough.
I really enjoyed it. I forgot what they were doing. The song was fun. They were fun. I think I've said this last time too. Scott, when they don't dance together, I think they're the best, or top 3 dancers for me, because they're just both so strong and they hit every note. I feel like when they come together, something happens and it goes down a little. I think Scott gets too in his head, to be fair. I don't know that it's Riley's fault necessarily, but this time I think because of the dance style, they were able to dance by themselves, together, but they weren't holding each other. And I really enjoyed it, and I felt like they got a little bit more leeway than most people, but I think that's because they were dancing jazz on TikTok night. But I loved it, and I felt like it was so just in your face. And I think people are going to learn this dance like they did last year. Whose dance was it? Danny's dance, right? Where the people on TikTok were learning. Yeah. So this time, I think the little ass shaking, I liked it. It was a joy to watch.
Kristyn, a lot of comments in the chat. Why jazz? Confused by the jazz of it all. So definitely understand that criticism, but still fun.
We're going to see a lot of jazz next week in Disney night, so get used to it. Jazz and contemporary usually are for Disney night happen. But I actually think that this was a smart. I don't know who handed them, whether they asked if they could do jazz or whether producers were you're doing jazz. But he needed this as a confidence boost.
Yes.
And I think you were saying he's getting too much in his head, and being able to do jazz where the interpretation of what is jazz is a lot more open. Same thing with contemporary. He was able to learn what taking up space meant. He's got very long limbs, and I think being in hold sometimes freaks him out a little bit. But I think if he takes what he did this week, which was incredible, and brings it into next week, no matter what style they have, he's going to be able to build upon that. And that is exactly what Riley needed to do for Scott, and Scott needed it for himself.
Yep.
I love the beginning of this dance, and it comes right after the intro package that Scott was giving. We talked, Sasha, in the preseason, of course, about the dance that he did at his wedding that went pretty viral, and so he gets to talk a little bit about just he didn't know when he was younger if he was going to be able to come out, and of course now he is out and proud, and the video of him and his husband at their wedding went viral and all that stuff. And then this dance begins with two members of the troupe, and just like three queer men dancing up on stage together to start this off. And eventually Riley comes in like, I really appreciated that. I'm sure he really appreciated it. He's had this flair to his dance all season, and I'm just glad that he got to like bring in, well, look, it's me being me and bringing myself into the ballroom. Of course, it's something that I think a lot of people talk about when it comes to Ezra, who another openly queer dancer on the show, who is not, I guess, what a lot of people envision when they picture ballroom dancing. You sometimes just picture the straight man and woman dancing together, but that's not just what dancing ever has been and ever will be. So to have that perspective added in from Scott here, I thought was great. And I'm just glad that, it was finally a good night for the two of them, because I think they have a lot of support. So Derek totally, whatever joke he was going for there, repeating the last week's one word, he said blue. This week he said red, hot. And then he knew that didn't go anywhere. Nobody
didn't land.
Bless Derek. I feel like Carrie Ann's spirit went into Derek this week.
Is that what's happening?
And I don't know if it was because the poor blazer was maybe too tight from Glee that he had on, but bless his heart. I was like, girl,
all of his medals. I can't believe that sound and audio was like, this isn't gonna fly. Right? This is gonna be annoying.
Off, or we just got to put it on the other side, whatever. But
and then by the end of the night, a jacket goes flying. Carrie Ann's trying to get it together. She's like, "Here's your mic. It's like,
and she's like.
And I mean, that's just Carrie. I can't imagine her doing something normal, right? Like not casually picking something up and giving it to someone. Right. Imposs. But folks are also talking a lot about Disney night, which we can talk about leave it, I think, for the end.
Yeah.
But especially because Scott has composed for Disney, so it's gonna be interesting.
Yes. So I am gonna miss it, but I'll watch it. Kristyn, let's get into Hilaria and Gleb. Of course, this controversial casting that I know you covered very well in the beginning of the season before things even got started. And I don't know, the tough part about a controversial casting is when maybe your best dancer of the season is said casting, like we have here.
They're so interesting to me because technically these two are perfect. Like they just go out there and they nail it. Am I feeling anything though? I'm not. And it's so funny because Gleb, I always feel like usually has chemistry with like a doorknob. And like this year, I'm like, there's no heat. And I don't know if it's because Alec Baldwin is in the ballroom and he's like, oh, okay. Obviously she's married, but I just feel like it is two people just dancing and dancing beautifully, but not dancing with any feeling. And to me, when I look at what Dancing with the Stars is all about, it's like it's a third. I always say it's a third social media, it's a third dance, and it's a third personality. And I'm like, I need some personality, people. So and I'm surprised that none of the judges have said anything yet. Like, hey, we need a little bit more emotion out of you, because I feel like she's just giving me facials like she's in a ballroom competition. If you ever go to a ballroom competition, it's the like the fake facials. She's giving those.
Yeah, I feel like Derek, makes a comment that technically you're in a league of your own, because I think the judges are just watching this couple, Sasha, being like, this is basically like the troupe just came out and performed. Like, this is obviously two incredible dancers.
It's beautiful. I mean, it is technically perfect. She looks stunning.
Yeah. Like they want to give 9s and 10s week 3 to Hilaria Baldwin and Gleb. Like they can't because of, first of all, who it is, and second of all, it's only week 3, but they want to. They should be.
Maybe Disney Week will bring something out in her, because that's a character and maybe she will embrace something there. And I know a lot of people are like, well, she's performed professionally. And I know there's a lot of this argument. I don't care in the long run, because I don't think she's going to win this competition, one.
Yeah.
And two, if she's not giving 1/3 of that, like, 33% that I always like talk about, that little pie chart. If she's missing that 33% in terms of performance level, that again, it's like she's not giving it everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kristyn, I'd also love to hear from you, right? Like, to see someone that has such high level, right? Like, because of her background, for them to be together and then for us not to even like acknowledge it necessarily, right? Because she's beat in Blackpool, I think she beat Whitney I think it was Whitney.
It was Emma.
Sorry. She beat, someone, right? Like, this is a legit pro, right?
Yeah.
For all, for all the criterias. So I'm confused as to like how no one is kind of acknowledging the elephant in the room a little bit.
Right. And maybe if they address that, and it's so funny because I used to work for Dance Network, and that interview clip is going around. It's by my old colleague, Michael Mahoney. People keep sending it to me. I'm like, you guys, I saw this years and years ago because I worked for the network at the time. But it's, the show needs to acknowledge it in some way, shape, or form. I wish that they had the first week just to let's get over this hump and move on. But also, if we can't critique, if there's no dance journey because she's technically perfect, where do we go as viewers and voters with Hilaria?
That's my question, Kristyn. Who is voting for them? And I don't mean that to sound like such a like who.
I mean, chat is asking the same thing, so it's
yeah. I'm like,
yeah,
we can we know the audience voting for. Bring it back to Andy again. Is like everyone who's rooting for the American Dad type of vibe, but like. Is it just people that maybe don't know Hilaria and they're like this, truly just voting for who they're seeing perform well? Is it Gleb fans, even though he's losing a lot of followers with this Nader series? Is it still plenty of Gleb fans out there? I don't know.
I think that I always say there's two sets of fans. There's the set of fans like us who are dialed into social media, and we know that interview's out there about Hilaria saying that she has professional ballroom training and she's competed and everything else. And we've done the deep dives and we saw that she beat Emma. And then there's the other people who are watching. And I think about my niece in Georgia. She definitely does not know that, Hilaria has competed and that she was at NYU and all this stuff. So there could be that they're just seeing, they're like, oh, this is some good dancing. And so they're like, okay, we'll just vote Hilaria, that kind of thing. And I know that the bottom three is always that, like, they may not necessarily be in the bottom three, but they usually put someone there that is on shaky ground, even if they aren't exactly the bottom three. And that is to boost the fans to go, if you want to see Hilaria continue on this competition, you better start voting for her. They always just do that little shake up with that type of couple. So if we see her in the bottom again and again, that's when I know, oh no, she's trailing way far behind. Right. But I think last week was probably enough of a boost for this week.
Carrie Ann got me a little emotional, of course, and probably a lot of us talking about how Len would have loved that samba. So, always, tugging on the heartstrings there. Yeah. Also, Sasha, if I had a soundboard, for us being podcasters, I would put that sound clip from Hilaria. When I'm talking, you're not talking. We'd get a lot of use out of it.
I couldn't stop. Again, it's just... Don't come for me, y'all. I think I'm just pissed off today. But I'm like, okay, maybe like at this point, let's just vote for Hilaria. Because like, what's happening here, right? Like, what are we doing here? Nothing matters. And again, I think she needs to lean into the when I'm not talking, you're not talking, like all the ridiculous stuff this lady has done online. How do you say cucumber in English? Girl, shut up. Right? Like, you're an unserious lady.
And she's Hillary from Boston.
Yeah, right? Like, girl. So I really feel like if she leans into this, I think at this point, I'm just going to be like, let's go, girl. Well, like, at this point, we got Whitney, we got Alex, right? Like, all these people have some kind of background. Granted, she has the most, and she's with Gleb. But I bet you if she wasn't with Gleb, she'd be much higher. I think a lot of people would be like, okay, maybe let's get into this.
Yeah.
Gleb's a good match for her technically, for sure. I mean, I think the timing was probably of the Brooks situation probably is unfortunate.
And if this wasn't already a controversial enough pick and team and all that kind of stuff. Shangela was back in the ballroom with them this week in the rehearsals. A lot of content being posted by the three of them. So there's that. Moving on. We've talked.
I was like, nope, I ain't touching
I'm not
it.
touching the Shangela controversy. That is dark.
We have talked so much about Andy and Emma tonight. So, I mean, we'll just continue with specifically talking about what they had for us tonight. Again, we did already talk a lot about it, but Sasha, they are here. They got 6s, the same score as our eliminated couple in Lauren and Brandon. And I don't know. For me, I'm like, what else is there to say? But let's say more.
Yeah, it's bless. I have nothing against Andy. I want to make that clear, but I'm just pissed off that again how they score men and women. And I think that Andy did better where I was dialed in a little bit more. My notes say maybe he's holding the camera for half the song, but sure, because I enjoyed it. Like I want to say, like I enjoyed it. It was cute. It was fun. It was a moment. But I feel like this uncle that has now overstayed his welcome
at the party.
Yeah, it's like, okay, come on, right? Like it's past your bedtime. And but again, I feel like he's trying really hard. So it's not in my heart to like hate on him, if that makes sense. The situation is really pissing me off. But it's not his fault because I think he's trying so hard. And it just, people gotta vote how they vote. And listen, Americans and votes, here we are, right? Like,
yeah,
here we are.
and
but it's just so I feel like it was really nice. And I'm telling you, their outfits also, like the all white and the whole vibe was just giving to me, but that ain't no 6.
Well, here's the thing. I felt like Emma choreographed this as his final dance.
Yeah,
I think she honestly, and they were talking.
Agreed.
Their language when they were talking up with Julianne, I felt like they were like, this is probably our last week. We're good. I'm Andy. I'm lovable. I've tried as much as I can. And I think that, but I genuinely think like Emma's had a good time with him. She's enjoyed working with him. Emma is a genius when it comes to choreography, pulling at our heartstrings, getting contestants to levels that we probably never thought. I mean, when she had Reggie last year, I was behind the scenes. I went to the studio a couple of times. Reggie had a lot of mobility issues off the dance floor. And the fact that she got him to the week that she did was incredible. And she treated him with incredible grace and respect and everything else. And that's a special, I always say that's a special like Emma personality thing. So he's going to have to step it up for next week. He's very lucky that it's also Disney week. And he can do a character and he quite possibly could make it onto another week if, because she's going to be really smart with the choreography here.
I think the judges are going to just run out of things to say, which I guess maybe we've also kind of got. It's just like they say the same thing every week of like, well, we know the dance wasn't exactly what we're looking for in a ballroom competition, but
he could be picking up his feet more. Like I thought in the foxtrot, I was a little bit, I don't know if maybe his knees were hurting him, but I was like, in a foxtrot, he should be able to maybe be a little bit lighter on his feet. And, I would have given that note as a judge. Like, I don't know if your knees are bothering you tonight, but I'd like to see you just maybe a little bit lighter instead of like heavy-footed, flat-footed.
And I'm just glad, he's another one of the celebrities that's really embracing the experience. Seems very happy to be there, all that kind of stuff. So, he was talking in that podcast that we keep referencing about like, the idea of doing this in the first place. And Kristyn, as you talked about, like the hip replacement he has coming, he said this is his send off to his old hip. So, it was his good reason to get up, get moving, get a little bit in shape for what he's looking for. And they're doing it. So, we get another week of Andy and Emma. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
We also get another week and probably many more of Robert Irwin and Whitney Carson, who are visiting the alligators this week and also just getting right to it. We saw the ads that Robert was doing ahead of the season for, was it like Skims or something? One of the underwears. And the shirt came off.
Bonds.
Okay, yeah. I don't know my underwear brands. I'm sorry. But the shirt came off and unfortunately or fortunately, there was a whole dance too, but that's the headline of the night, Kristyn.
Yeah, here's the thing. I appreciated that this was a dance that was more about having like heat and chemistry with Whitney instead of everything just being like, I'm happy Robert Irwin, because the Irwins are just a great, happy, lovely family. And so I liked that. I agreed with the judges when they said it was a little bit stiff. It felt like very square when the salsa, is a social dance and you should be like grooving into your hips and everything. So it was not their most successful dance, but I think that having a little bit of a setback here in week 3 gives them a lot to work into in the next couple of weeks. Again, with Disney Week, everyone's a character, so everyone's probably going to be playing into all of that. But we know that he's going to be here in week 5 and 6 and 7, that type of thing. So I think he needs to tap into a different side of his emotions and work on that.
And some criticism towards Whitney with the where was the salsa, as Muhammad says as well, and she seemed to take that.
Yeah,
That's fair.
He's winning. We're fine, guys. But so I think that they need to actually critique him a little bit harder, because I think he's most likely going to win. I mean, if he loses, like, a grave craziness has happened. They stole the votes, but it's just I find it to be very very fun. So it's okay again if they're going for fun instead of necessarily content this week. I think that's okay. But yeah, I was just like, the salsa ain't there, but he is, and that's fine with me.
Yeah, 9.1 million followers on TikTok. It's highlighted here on TikTok.
That was shady. Oh, you have the most followers out of
I mean, it's like, tell me that you're aware that he's winning, that you're winning, without telling me that that you guys are winning, right? Like,
because the show's putting out the narrative that he's winning. It's like right underneath the surface. That's the problem.
And I feel like not only was their first dance better than the other two that have followed, I feel like the judges the last week and this week are trying to pull back a little bit and not make it so obvious that they also think that he's going to win, even though we kind of figured that out right away. Like, we solved the puzzle on night 1, and now we just have to give other people a chance. But they're still doing really well. The shirt came off, and there's Robert and Whitney for this week. So.
Kid, I also say it's so funny, right? That like we have these technically just completely smart dancers. And then he's most likely going to win, which again, I think like these are the type of people you actually want on Dancing with the Stars, that are like just good enough and then get better and better and better and have like a really fun story. And the fact that his family, right? Like Bindi is constantly in the audience with little Grace. Like, you're killing me. It's so good.
So cute. The whole family moved there for 3 months. Bindi's a very popular winner. That season was really fun to watch. It was emotional. That footprints in the sand dance with Derek about her dad. I mean, there's a lot of emotions there
too.
Yeah.
So
there's got to be some father dedication night. Come on.
Oh, right.
I'm sure it's coming. Yeah. Alex and Val closed out the night. And look, I got to start with, again, we talked about Robert and his appearances with the shirt off. I thought Alex looked so good tonight. Loved her outfit. Loved the jewels glued to her face. I thought she looked really good. And they had a really fun quick step here, Sasha.
This was her best dance to me, where I was just like, oh, she's finally not like robot. I feel like, oh, she's not just going through the motions, because again, so tall, can really use her body, just like Scott, right? Like very similar in that, like, I just want her to move a little bit more, especially with her background. But even then, I feel like this is the one person that I just am not connecting with personally. It doesn't mean like she's a bad dancer. I don't think she should like get eliminated or anything, but I'm just like, girl, like, we get it that you have your get ready with me, but like there has to be more to you, right? And I think that's why the Alex Earl effect was popular, is because she felt so real and folks were able to connect her. So I think her dancing wise, like, it was fun, no issue. I just feel like I'm not connecting with Alex. And I don't know, like, I'm like, Val, are you having fun? Question mark. What's going on?
Yeah, they're getting a little bit of heat for that, Kristyn, of just like, do you guys even like each other? I don't know where that totally came from, besides like maybe they didn't seem the most obviously the team to have the most obvious chemistry, but like, I don't know. I think we might have taken it a step too far.
Yeah, I mean, I don't I'm not worried about them that they hate each other or that they love each other. I think that they're just good friends. And I think that maybe Val knows how to get her where she needs to go. I'm not worried about like Val as a pro. I think Alex sometimes gets a little bit in her head. It's so funny when you see someone that's like out there on TikTok, has millions of followers. But I was like, sometimes you see her little confidence slip a little bit. And I think that she just needs to trust. She can trust Val, of course, but she also needs to trust herself because she's got the skills. She's got those great long limbs. I'd be showing off her legs every single week if I were Val, like every leg possible thing I would do, if it works in the dance, that type of thing. And she has this warmth because she's been showing up a lot on my FYP with her dog that just had his like little knee surgery or whatever, knee replacement. That part of Alex, which is very sweet and very loving, can show up on Dancing with the Stars. So I think if she lets the wall fall down, like she's keeping a little bit of, keep that guardedness, let it fall. It's all good. You're going to be making your way probably to the finale.
I was going to say, like, just, we've made our predictions along the way here, Kristyn, but do you think finale? Do you think like winner candidate? Or I guess it really, for me, it just depends on, I don't know her following as well. So I can't really say for sure. She already comes into this with a lot of followers, and, we're talking a little bit about maybe they don't feel like the most connected team. People in the chat kind of saying that even still after tonight. What do you think?
Yeah, I think if she starts to, like I say, sort of melt away that facade a little bit and tap into the emotional side of this journey, she's going to do well. I don't think she's going to win. I'm in the camp of like, Robert's going to win this, but she has the ability to be, if we're doing a top 5 finale, I don't know if that's confirmed or anything, but if it was a top 5 finale, she has the ability to be there. Yeah. She needs to believe it though. She needs to believe in herself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sasha, anything else on these two?
Francesca also says that they're very sarcastic with each other, and it seems like she has vlogs where Val said he was concerned about her facials, which is exactly what we're saying. Lavender says it really great, aloof but competent. Again, I wonder if this is because she was younger when she had her dance, background, and it's not necessarily something that's followed her whole life. And I think, to me personally, this feels like a lot of TikTok personality, social media. I'm not putting just on TikTok, but I feel like in TikTok you at least get to see the dancing.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why. But in general, I think like content creators struggle with like being a certain way, maybe them in a camera. And I think that's because if you actually hear a lot of their stories, especially YouTubers, right? Like they'll be like, well, I was actually like bullied in high school and socially awkward and no one talked to me. And then, I hit this algorithm and now I'm here and I'm making it. I'm conventionally good looking, but on the inside, right? Whatever that may be. So I wonder if that's what also Alex is struggling with, right? Like where it's easy when you're editing your content and posting it online versus you're just bearing yourself
live on TV. Yep. And what Andy has, where he has that sort of like natural lovable self, like she needs to take elements of that. Hilaria could also take elements of that. Whitney, I think too. And then, Andy needs some of the technique that some of those other, really good dancers who are up there at the top have. So.
Do we get any 9s next week? What do you think?
Oh, we'll get a 9 in Disney week. It's a feel-good week. Yeah, and a lot of times, I'd be curious to look at the press release when it comes out, because a lot of times they don't do an elimination on Disney week just to. Oh, right. Always a feel-good week. But that means then we get a double elimination, which is a bummer. So
Andy and Hilaria are going then if it's a double. No, I'm just kidding. I don't think she's going out.
For the pacing of the season, I prefer an elimination every week. I don't think we need to do another double in a couple of weeks, but also like whatever. Again, I'll be just bummed to not be here. Sorry to keep bringing it up, but I'm upset.
Everyone, put your congratulations, mazel tovs in the chat.
For what?
For you.
Oh, yeah.
What do you mean? Big week for Matt next week.
Yes.
Can I say it?
Yeah.
Matt's getting married.
Congratulations.
No, so everyone give him your good luck, good vibes, peaceful vibes.
Yes. Yeah. So, I guess hopefully a valid excuse for not being here. But we'll be back, of course. And in the meantime, Sasha will have Haley will be back. And I believe QT is scheduled to join next week as well. But in the meantime, with Disneyland around the corner, Disneyland night, I should say, 70th anniversary week coming up. Kristyn, thank you so much for joining us tonight. You mentioned it earlier, but mention again, where can anybody find you online, TikTok, anywhere at all that you want people to check out if they aren't already?
Yeah, if you want all of my Dancing with the Stars insight, whatever you want to call it, I'm on TikTok at Kristyn Burtt, just spelled just like this right here. It's the Y that throws everyone off. So
Yes. Again, such a pleasure to have you here. Hopefully we'll get to do it again sometime in the future. And Sasha will recover the rest of the season, even though this elimination really stung.
Yes, I'll be fine. I won't be as mean, maybe. We'll see. But also for Disneyland, a lot of the chat was saying, I just wanted to bring that up, that it's Disneyland's 70th anniversary. So
Yes.
we might get a lot of Disneyland ride songs
Yeah.
instead of maybe like Disney. And I'm just like, that's crazy, because then we're gonna have people dancing to It's a Small World.
And
Peter
I'll
Pan.
eat it up. When I get back,
Yep.
I'll have all the comments ready for you.
Oh my
about how
gosh.
much
So
I
it's
loved
gonna
it.
be really funny. So I just wanted to make that note that we didn't forget. It's just
Yes.
I'm confusion if that happens. Yes, Toontown. Let's do it.
Toontown.
Sasha, in the meantime, mess magnets.
Yes, check out Mess Magnets if you want to know pop culture, drama. You know, if you're like, why is something trending? Check out Mess Magnets. We'll tell you all about it. Lavina and Kirsten were together this year this week, because I'm still here and there for the Jewish holidays, but here we are. And yeah, I think that's. Oh, and then I was on with Bryce Isaiah talking The
Ooh.
Amazing Race, the premiere episode. So much fun. Check that out as well on the Purple Pants feed.
All right.
And again, thank you, Kristen, for being here.
Yes.
Thank you, Sasha. Thank you, Matt. I appreciate it.
Of course. Check me out on the Free Agents podcast, Talking the Challenge and The Amazing Race with Brian Scally. Thank you to everybody in the chat for all the congrats. And check me out on the Diary Room podcast with Aman Adwin every single week, talking all things Big Brother. We've had a lot of fun episodes all summer long, for as long as we've been doing the podcast, plenty more to come. So check that out. But also, Sasha, I forgot last week, we have to put out the call, as always, for 5-star ratings and reviews. We've been getting a couple, and we really appreciate it. But I forgot to mention it last week, and surprise, nothing came in last week, so that's on me. But my gift I could ask if anybody could give me or is looking to give me any kind of wedding gift, which you don't have to, but you could give the podcast a wedding gift.
Yes.
And that's 5-star ratings and reviews. We really appreciate them in your podcast feeds. So that's that. I think that'll do it for now. Thank you all for checking this episode out. Thank you again, Kristen, for joining us. Sasha will be back next week, and plenty more season to go. But until then, take care, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.
This is RHAP. We know reality TV.